A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the UBC News tonight. With me, Wadulo, Mark Arnold. I'm going to be your news anchor for the next 1 hour. So please do sit tight as we give you the news. So without further ado, let's get straight to the first story. Every 3rd of March, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate Wildlife Day with a concern to protect endangered species. The lion, also referred to as the king of the jungle, is facing extinction. Statistics from the Wildlife Conservation Society and the Uganda Wildlife Authority census on lions indicates a wide decline from about 460 lions in 2022 to 320 to date. And as we later in the following feature story, there is conflict between humans and wildlife, and climate change variations have also had a devastating effect on the natural habitat in the jungle. More details in this report.
Lions often roar to mark their territory. Lions are referred to as the king of the jungle because the male lion portrays a supreme attitude. It displays attributes of a powerful ruler, although its leadership is only of their territory. The king of the jungle's reign is at stake following increasing human population in Uganda that's encroaching on the protected lands for the primate's survival, a situation that's exacerbated by variations in climate change.
The increasing human interaction. When I talk of human interaction, in the recent years you've heard of poisoning of lions, you've heard of killing of lions, poaching.
The population is skyrocketing every day. Land is not expanding, and these animals are there. Livelihoods are not changing. So,
lions or cats generally are very, very, very seclusive animals. You don't easily come across them. They are very exclusive. They have a very, very difficult life because they eat meat, they don't eat grass. And to eat meat, they must hunt. And it is not easy to hunt. It's difficult. And in hunting, they don't need to be disturbed. And even when they go to breed, to produce the young ones, it's not easy for them to breed. They produce kids who don't have eyes. And then later they develop eyes.
There is a proposal for Uganda Wildlife Education Center to breed lions in Queen Elizabeth, Chidepo and Makshon Falls National Parks. The center plans to allocate 10 billion Uganda shillings in the 2024-2025 budget to start the breeding project.
Part of our functions are conservation education awareness, but also we have the component of breeding. At UWEC we have 15 lions, and these have been bred here. But then we also have researchers on board, like Uganda Wildlife Research Training Institute and other NGOs on board. So when we come together, then we shall bring our heads together and see who does what, when. Those who have carried out research, we have to benchmark on those who have carried out research, because elsewhere, people have done it.
It is part of the solution to boost the country's tourism sector, although other stakeholders have expressed mixed reactions.
It might become a white elephant project, because that is where my worry is. We've got to understand, we've got to do a feasibility study and make sure that what we are going to spend money on is going to work. Because if it doesn't work, we'll have wasted our resources, we'll have wasted the lions' time in terms of helping them to breed. And so we really need to do a feasibility and make sure that we think through. The other aspect is the behavior of the animals. An animal that is hand-bred behaves a bit differently than an animal that is wild-bred.
According to World Animal Protection, the question of breeding lions remains in balance, with a call on stakeholders to address the core issues threatening their majestic beings.
So, as World Animal Protection, we call upon Uganda Wildlife Education Center and, of course, the other supportive agencies, UWA, and the collaborating agencies, UWA, and the Ministry of Wildlife, Tourism and Antiquities, to rethink this proposal and really consider implementing conservation efforts that are directing to addressing the underlying causes of why the lions are declining in the first instance before thinking of, I would say, directing resources perhaps into an initiative that might not be sustainable in the long term.
Setting up coexistence mechanisms with the populations living along the protected zones of the national game parks and reserves will address some of the underlying factors threatening the wild animals.
At the moment, there are efforts which are being spearheaded by some conservationists. They have formed an umbrella organization called Umoja. And this Umoja is saying, let the landowners also be given power to manage wildlife on their private land. And so they can benefit from this wildlife. This is an area that really needs particular attention.
Partly is lack of enforcement of the benefit sharing agreements that's making it a bit on both sides. The communities are not being truthful sometimes in what they do, and the governance of these places are also not remitting sometimes what they say is due to the communities. So there's a bit of lack of transparency on both sides.
Uganda targets $5.2 billion from tourism annually, with the sector being Uganda's leading foreign exchange earner. Makerere University Economic Policy Research Center analyst Dr. Madina Mwagale Guloba calls for such interventions that will see Uganda attain the much-awaited Development Vision 2040.
So now, when we deliberately build the tourism sector, then deliberately you're going to the GDP, because GDP is essentially consumption. The biggest part of GDP is consumption. So when the consumption, everyone is eating every day, then GDP is going up. And if the sector driving it is tourism, then essentially tourism is going to be driving the GDP of this country.
The United Nations World Wildlife Day is celebrated annually on 3rd March to take stock of wild animals and plants. The Wildlife Day comes at a time when stakeholders are worried over the declining numbers of lions. Sudat Kaye and Douglas Setumba, UBC News.
State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has encouraged stakeholders in technical colleges to begin programs that involve the elderly to train in technical colleges. Government has started improving the quality of technical courses to allow an increased number of youth yearning to join.
Uganda ranks among countries in the African continent with the increasing numbers of unemployment among youth who are seeking employment outside Uganda. Unemployment among the youth can be reduced, although it needs a partnership between government and stakeholders in technical colleges to change the mindset on technical courses. State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, has urged stakeholders in technical colleges to begin programs involving the elderly who can be trained in technical colleges.
The amount of money we've been sending for capitation grant is not enough. I agree it's not enough because the cost of living has gone up. But I've taken a note of all these issues and I'm going back to cabinet to see to it that something good comes out of this. The unfortunate thing is that we have started the budgeting process. So these are things we can easily accommodate. But I appeal to the parents, the children, the students, wherever you are, whatever the reason, nothing should keep you out of school. Go to school, get the exercise skills, go to work, and then go to develop your country.
He was commissioning 31 billion shillings teaching facilities of plumbing, carpentry and electrical workshops at Uganda Technical College, Kichwamba in Kabarole district. The function coincided with the 14th graduation ceremony for over 850 graduates. Minister Muyingo encouraged Ugandans to embrace the modernized technical colleges as centers of excellence. The State Minister for Culture, Peace Mutuzo, said changing the mindset on technical and vocational skills is vital and said despite being a minister, she has children trained in technical colleges and encouraged others to emulate her.
That the courses offered here are not necessarily for failures, neither are they for poor parents. I am a minister. My son has come, as he is here, has completed a diploma in civil engineering, because from senior 3 we agreed is going to be civil engineering. When he missed it in Makerere and other universities by 0.4, was enough to bring him right here to begin with the diploma. Secondly, we need more technicians now. And technicians can really be technicians when they are doing civil works, like welding. So many times we spend money into universities, and when somebody completes, cannot do something even very small on a building until he has technicians behind him. So let's begin small.
The chairperson of the governing council, Richard Rwabuhinga, said the 31 billion teaching facility at the college would benefit many, although there is need for more funding to enable the college acquire facilities to accommodate the girl child.
As a country, we suffer from 3 major challenges. We have a skills mismatch, a skills deficit, and finally a skills crisis. Most of the students that leave the gates of universities take a year, 2, 3, 4 without getting any formal employment, because the skills they have acquired are not rhyming with what the job market requires out there. But with this now, competence-based training, the CBET policy, it is answering that gap, whereby the students who leave the gates of UT6 Twamba, they go out to create jobs, not to seek for jobs.
The world has commemorated World Hearing Day, where in Uganda people living with the hearing loss want government to put into priority on hearing implants, gadgets and others. Hearing gadgets and implants are still expensive, preventing the beneficiaries to access them. They want to cut down on taxes on these gadgets. More details in this report.
Normal ears and hearing was difficult. It was hard to talk to peers, and at the school he was segregated against.
I was born when I'm not hearing well, so I had a challenge in the cases whereby when my mother could send me something at the shop, I bring other things instead of the things I'm supposed to bring.
After almost 14 years, Tamukede got a donor who helped him access surgery of cochlear implants.
I was able to get a chance of going for treatment so that I can be able to hear like normal people. And this is how it is. After doing implanting me some devices within me, then they also gave me a cochlear device that is enabling me to hear properly.
All the clients are trying to get these gadgets from us. They are quite expensive, and we're just requesting the government to be able to come and work with us, the providers, to be able to waive off some taxes to make this more affordable so that people are able to hear the world and interact with everyone around.
An audiologist, Dr. Lakonyi Peter, says hearing loss is increasing day by day due to various factors.
They are born, probably there is hearing loss in the family, there are hearing problems in the family, and they inherit that problem. There are also problems which are caused by infections like rubella, German measles.
However, doctors say the problem can be reduced if taxes on hearing aids gadgets are waived for every patient to afford them.
It's become not only a local concern, but it's also a global concern. Reason being, WHO has noticed a trend in increase of hearing loss.
Hear His Voice Uganda, a civil society and parents of hearing impaired children during the commemoration of this day have appealed to the authorities to give priority to issues of the hearing impaired. First for a better life.
The child is left out in very many functions because they can't hear. But even the child feels that isolation.
The mindsets of professionals are also changing. We have seen situations where, for example, you go to a school and they say, oh, this child has a cochlear implant. We know those things are very expensive. As long as you're here, you're not going to put on your cochlear implant. And yet this child needs the cochlear implant to function.
Cochlear implant is one of the most common hearing gadget. However, the device costs more than 100 million shillings, which still prevents many people from accessing them. Benon Mokwaya, Moyingo Joseph, UBC News.
Minister for Kampala, Hajat Minsa Kabanda, has urged Muslim women to take up the government's self-development programs to transform their lives. She was launching the Quran distribution campaign here in Kampala.
Through its followers who joined Team Amanu, has donated 15,000 in Luganda and English Qurans to Muslims. This is done to enable Muslims spread Islam through their studies and to encourage on native languages. Kampala Minister Minsa Kabanda urged Muslim women to take advantage of government programs.
We have money in government, we are giving it out, but sometimes Muslim women don't attend meetings, they don't want to go for political meetings, and if they don't go for political meetings, that means they will not know what is happening there. But if you attend a political meeting, then you come out to know what is happening there. We have money for PDM, we have money for GROW, we have money for youth livelihood, we have money for yoga. All that money is there for us. Government has already offered that money.
He further urged Muslims to educate and teach their children religion for their future to be bright.
No matter whether you have a job or you don't have a job, because no man can take a woman without education. If you want your woman to go for marriage, they will always ask you, has she gone to school? How far has she gone? Okay, we know there is, but after school, you can even look for other things to do.
The resident district commissioner for Mukono district, Hajat Fatuma Ndisaba, urged people to adopt the Quran to expand on their knowledge.
When you read, you get solutions for the problems that you have in your family, at your place of work, for your children, in your marriage, in the nation. We get to know what we should recite when you have a problem. When you are too much excited, you're happy with what you've gotten as good thing, you know what to recite, you know whatever you're supposed to be doing. And this is a book that brings back the hearts of the people, that depressed those who feel that they've given, but God is not listening to them.
Sheikh Harun Rashid Kasangati said that Arabic is difficult for some Muslims, which is why they decided to distribute English Qurans to facilitate their reading.
Our Muslim community, they don't know how to translate Arabic language, as our Quran are written in Arabic language. That's why we have translated them so that people could understand their religion and put into consideration and into practice their religion. Because when you are reading the Quran translated one, you will understand what you are reading.
For 5 years, Voice of Africa has been involved and 12 million copies of the Quran have been distributed. The event is sponsored by the Union of Muslim Councils for East, Central and Southern Africa. Mike Bakabulindi compiled for you this report.
An aspirant in the Guild presidency of Makerere University, Semuyaba Joshua Vitali, says that there is need to have change of useful leadership on the Guild cabinet. He eyes the post as the university prepares to vote the 90th Guild Council. Details in this report.
Basing on the slogan, "The Makerere we want," Semuyaba Joshua Vitali, an aspirant in the Makerere University Guild presidency, says a positive change in the Students' Guild inspired him to stand for Makerere University Guild presidency.
We want to have the Makerere that we want. And we've moved around the institution and had several conversations with Makererians. And to have an understanding of the Makerere that everybody wants to have. And definitely we package the information in such a way that we have.
Though the Electoral Commission exempted contestants to participate in political parties, Semuyaba reveals that he belongs to the NRM.
As a person, NRM is my party. And definitely understand that in the current age Mackay University, where we've had leaders over time from the opposition that have since established a big gap between students as stakeholders of this institution and the decision makers, and definitely the government. For me,
he cites a leader who can approach government for students' well-being.
The time today, Mackay University needs a leader who is not so confrontational, a leader that takes off time to understand the problems and the solutions, because we're having a modern day Makerere. Even if we still lobby for an old, better Makerere, we must understand the change in the times, and definitely we need a leader who is more calm at understanding problems and one who is deliberate about solving these problems.
The 90th Guild Council shall be elected on 7th March 2024. I'm Benon Mokwaya reporting.
And in more news, the Ndiga clan head who was shot dead last week has been laid to rest at the Ndiga clan ancestral home at Mbare, Mawokota, Mpigi district. Dignitaries from the central government, Mengo government and mourners have turned in big numbers to witness the uncommon send-off of the clan head. His Majesty the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, in his message delivered by the First Deputy Katikiro of Buganda, Professor Twaha Kawase Chigongo, asks that the government needs to bring the killers to book.
Tusaba abavunaanyizibwa okwanguyako okunoonyereza n'okuzuula abaakoze ekikolwa kino bakwatibwe era bakangavvulwe. Obuganda bufiiriddwa omuntu ow'enkizo abadde omwetoowaze, omwesimbu era ng'akulembedde bulungi ekika kye.
Pulezidenti yatuusizza obubaka eri maama Namwandu, obubaka obuwandiike n'obubaka obw'okuyambako okulaba nti omukolo guno tusiibula jjajjaffe obulungi mu kitiibwa ekimugwanidde.
Nabagambye bwe ndi mujjwanja kwogera abalabye batayogedde. Tewayogedde nti abatemudde jjajjaffe Lwomwa babadde bandiga nga balina amannya ga ndiga. Ekyo kisoboka kitya okubeerawo? Agoma wano naye nga twatuuka tutya ku leve eyo.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has said that government will upgrade forest reserves and wildlife reserves to national parks and safeguard wildlife. This decision will boost conservation efforts and prioritize protection of tourists. This was in a message read by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja during the UN World Wildlife Day celebration at Ngorongoro Primary School in Chenjojo District. More details in this report.
President Museveni has emphasized conserving wildlife for present and future generations. In his message read by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, he highlighted plans to build more tourism roads, upgrade aerodromes, and utilize ICT to enhance conservation and tourism promotion.
By the year 2023, tourism contributed employment for 1.6 million people, 68% of whom were females, accounting to 14.7% of the total number of jobs. Tourism accounts to 3.6% of GDP. Government will continue to strategically invest in the tourism sector to boost the sector in order to benefit from high rates of return associated with the tourism industry.
Government aims to combat wildlife crimes and eliminate human-induced threats such as poaching and encroachment on conservation areas.
It is also important to note that loss of biodiversity has a long-term negative impact on human survival. Uganda is one of the top biodiverse regions in the world, endowed with exceptional wildlife diversity. Uganda hosts more than 50% of the world's remaining population of the mountain gorillas, several other mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, butterflies, fish, etc. Uganda boasts of the best wilderness tourism sites.
President Museveni stressed the significance of biodiversity for human survival, noting Uganda's rich natural diversity. He reaffirmed government's commitment to investing in tourism, a major contributor to the country's foreign exchange earnings.
Development of infrastructure and tourism support services is crucial for a vibrant tourism industry. Electricity grid, ICT infrastructure have been extended to most tourism attractions. Government has constructed tourist trails and rescue facilities on Mountain Rwenzori and is exploring the possibility of electricity cables on Mount Rwenzori.
Minister Matia Kasaija urged Ugandans to protect wetlands and other natural habitats to mitigate human-wildlife conflicts.
Banywani bange batata na bamama nkanywa kurolerera enkurakurana yihangari numbye obugayiga abantu bamuke ombisharu kandi yiteka likwija kamba ibiro katoyita ushangiro oli mu tandika kushara amagezo koraki kurugamu ombisharu.
Tourism Minister Kano Tom Butime assured continued dedicated service to the country.
Honorable Prime Minister, with your usual support, existing and future partnerships, we are very confident, highly optimistic that we shall achieve more and overcome the challenges that exist in the sector.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has started disbursing funds to over 300,000 elderly persons of above the age 80. The SAGE Senior Program Senior Officer for Communications, Site Akatukunda, says that 30 billion Uganda shillings was recently released for the Social Action Grants for Empowerment exercise. Details in this report.
After a reasonably long wait, their prayers are finally being answered. The payment of the grant meant for elderly persons is now available. The process, beginning with 15 districts, commences on Monday 4th, March 2024.
Tomorrow, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, in partnership with the local governments and Centenary Bank, will start the countrywide delivery of the Senior Citizens Grant for older persons that are under that scheme, or commonly known as the SAGE program. This is a national program. Beneficiaries will receive the SAGE grant as long as they are still alive.
The recently released and available funds amount to about 30 billion Uganda shillings. The funds cater for the second quarter of the financial year. This implies the months of October, November and December 2023.
They are going to receive 75,000 shillings per older person, per beneficiary, because the SAGE grant benefits older persons, and every month they are entitled to 25,000 shillings. The SAGE grant benefits older persons who are 80 years and above across the country. And the requirement is that one should be a Ugandan, one should be 80 years, like I've said, and one should not be benefiting from any other government support, like pension.
About 306,000 elderly persons above the age of 80 are being targeted for this exercise.
For this week, beginning tomorrow, we will be in only 15 districts, and we are expecting about 28,000 older persons to receive the grant. Week beginning 11th, we expect to reach about 33,000. Those are in about 18 districts. So on a weekly basis, we will be in particular regions.
The Social Assistance Grants Program for Empowerment was rolled out in 2010, targeting persons of 80 years and above. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Uganda has numerous mining sites that operate on an artisanal and small-scale level, benefiting nearly 4 million Ugandans. However, these mining activities pose a risk for workers due to the exposure to radiation, as Ivan Carr reports. That experts in nuclear energy applications emphasize regulation and monitoring of mining fields to minimize harm.
The artisanal and small-scale mining sector continues to grow in Uganda, largely due to increasing mineral prices. With a significant proportion opting for rudimentary methods, approximately 90% of mineral production is attributed to artisanal and small-scale mining, directly benefiting an estimated 4.2 million Ugandans. The sector requires precautions to ensure the safety of the environment and the population, as mineral fields often contain nuclear substances that emit radiation. Much of the waste generated from mining fields is categorized as contaminated waste under the National Environment Act.
Now, NEMA will definitely mostly focus on prevention of pollution from radioactive sources. So whatever activity is happening, we ensure that the environment and the public health is safeguarded from the outcome of such activities, which the norm is one of the outputs of such minerals and mining activities.
Experts in nuclear energy argue that areas where exploration of minerals containing radioactive substances occurs require proper regulation to address the health implications associated with exposure to high doses of radiation.
Radiation can kill the cells which are cancerous. That is an advantage, but it can also cause a danger to my body by creating a cancerous cell. When you look at a cell, when it divides into two, one part can go to the other side with other components that it grows up, then also the other component goes the other side. So during the cell division, a single cell can divide into two with other maybe unifying component, and then you have an animal with the two heads or with the organs which are not well developed. Because we have cases of twins coming co-joined. So such twins who are co-joined may have resulted into a change during the mutation, during the early stages of development of the fetus.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is responsible for monitoring and measuring mining areas with radioactive levels that require follow-up actions.
We are measuring radiation from the rocks, and some of the levels may be high. You cannot be overexposed to those radiations. If you get exposed for some time, it may be hazardous to you. So the regulations is handy in addressing these issues. With the gadgets that we have now acquired, say the dosimeters, the scintillometers, the gamma ray spectrometers, we go to these mines and measure, even if it's not uranium mine, if it is a copper mine, we measure to see the radiation. Not only that, in our laboratories we do it to see whether the chemist is exposed to the radiation. So they work with rocks coming from very many areas around Uganda. So you have to know whether your environment is radioactive. So in so doing, if we go to these mines, actually with this law, it is now imminent that we need to monitor where people are mining, breaking rocks to see the radiation.
The National Environment Management Authority involves the public in endorsing all activities within the environment through the Environment Social Impact Assessment, which assesses potential impacts before endorsing any mining activity.
In terms of, is it safe? What proximity is it to the community, to their resources, like the water sources, potential areas which can get contaminated. So our approval is a certificate, but with conditions that they must comply to. So for such mining activities, we will require some baseline measurements. So when they start, we condition them to continue monitoring, and we continue to see how are they deviating or impacting the environment. So it's not a one-off. Annually, they do what is called environment audit, and they submit such report to NEMA. So we keep monitoring them. If they are going off, like not complying to our conditions, to our laws, we have the right to stop the activity.
While naturally occurring radioactive materials may not emit significant levels of radiation, the Atomic Energy Council is charged with carrying out assessment of radioactivity in natural materials.
But doesn't mean less risk, doesn't mean no risk. Because cumulatively, it can end up in being risky. So we don't need to take anything for granted that is of no importance or no significance.
Deogracious Ruwarira, the CEO for the Atomic Energy Council, advocates for safety measures to be implemented to improve and achieve minimum safety precautions for those working in mining fields.
So as of now, the situation is not the best. There's a lot to be done because many people are not protected, but they work, so they get exposed. Many people, they don't have procedures, protocols to guide them. So there's a risk of them being exposed. But as a council, we are coming up with a regulation to address all those mishaps, say that there's a general guidance, there's a legal framework for them, say that they may be guided of how they should operate.
The Atomic Energy Council conducts stakeholder engagements to sensitize about the peaceful application of nuclear energy while considering the safety of the population. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
NRM supporters in Nakawa Division have celebrated a belated party day at Makerere University Business School in Nakawa to consolidate the NRM achievements in the division. The event was officiated by the Minister for Kampala, Hajat Misa Kabanda, who commended the NRM supporters for making the party vibrant.
We have celebrated, we have talked about our achievements as NRM because we've been in existence for 38 years. So that means we have to showcase that we have been in existence for 38 years, have done this and this and this, have helped the youth, the women, the old women, and everybody. So that's why we came here to celebrate. And I encourage all the other districts to do the same. Because the celebrations were taken in Jinja, some people did not come. So if we do some functions, this is part of mobilization. People will know that we are still there, and for us we are still united.
A good day, and I want to thank all the people that have come here. We intended to have all Nakawa people, all NRM people. These are the people who are here, the structure. So I want to thank everyone and say that we are going to be having such a celebrations. We have inspected for the whole week all the government programs, and we say government has performed well. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has performed well. We looked at health centers. We have Chiswa. We have Aga Khan here, a hospital. We have a hospital military. We looked at roads. These roads are well done, and some are being done. We have also schools and all those things. We want to thank His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and urge and ask him to continue supporting us because we still need more.
The Bishop of Ankole Diocese, the Right Reverend Dr. Sheldon Frederick Mwesigwa, has advised Christians to adhere to the biblical teachings of observing a Sunday as the day for prayer, worship, and thanksgiving. Bishop Mwesigwa says that Christians in the corporate world ignore worship, go for marathons, and corporate social responsibilities. He was meeting workers for environment who called on him at Ankole Diocese offices in Mbarara City.
It is written in the Holy Bible that God rested on the seventh-day Sabbath, a practice that Christians ought to follow. Well, majority of the workers gathered on Sunday and attended prayers.
And so far we have walked for 210 kilometers to this point. Our appeal to the church congregation and then the public to conserve the environment. For us, we are walking, but you can also do something.
The team attended the 9 a.m. service at St. James Cathedral, Ruharo, in Bara City.
I think I really loved that. In Uganda, we are desecrating Sunday. People are doing marathons on Sunday. People are getting all events. We shall wash clothes on Sunday. So Sunday is supposed to be a day of rest and worship and reflection on our God. And the workers have respected Sunday, and I like them for that.
Later, the team attended Mass at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Nyamitanga Cathedral in Bara City. The main celebrant, Father Richard Dennis Sebugwawo, lauded the workers for the sacrifice to promote environmental conservation.
How I wish all of us as Ugandans could emulate the example of our brothers and sisters doing that in a bid to preserve our environment and to make us conscious about keeping our environment and preserving it.
At both churches, there was planting of trees to support environmental conservation.
In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Water, good one. So this is our future.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Have you packed Morvin's Harbour Jelly and Harbour Foam? Yes, we packed. It will protect your skin from skin rashes. Morvin's pack. It is a new improved Morvin's Harbour Jelly. So soft and smooth. It is a Morvin's Harbour Jelly. Tell me, kids,
Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Herbal Jelly and Herbal Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit, all day confidence. Special announcement. The Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement, NRM, informs party members and the entire public that the membership registration exercise will run from Wednesday 13th to Sunday the 17th of March 2024. You are therefore requested to go to your branches or villages to participate in the display, update and registration of your details. Those confirmed dead, left the area or crossed to other political parties should be publicly deleted from the register, while the new residents and those who have come of age be added. Please note that every member must show up in person and only registered individuals will participate in the internal party structure elections and party primaries.
As Uganda and as UBTS, we are hosting a high-level scientific blood transplant congress from the 4th to the 7th of March at Peak Resort, Munyonyo. I call upon everybody to come and attend this important congress where we shall share knowledge, expertise, and new innovations in the field of blood.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We give you more news. Now, Masindi Army Secondary School has celebrated victory for UCE 2023 results. Masindi Army is among the best performing military schools in the country. Masindi District Chairman Cosmos Biaruhanga said that government has earmarked money for infrastructure for seed schools in the district. Details in this report.
Masindi Army School is among the best performing military schools in the country. Out of the 237 students who sat for the Uganda Certificate of Education, 94 passed in Division 1, 92 in Division 2, 38 in Division 3, 10 in Division 4.
To say thanks to my teachers.
The best performing student, Apul Dina, scored 8 aggregates, followed by 3 with 9, 10, 11 aggregates. Masindi Field Artillery Division and Masindi District Education stakeholders celebrated and gave prizes to the best candidates. The district chairman, Cosmos Biaruhanga, said government has earmarked funds for structures and also lobby for more seed schools.
I want to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda for the support in these Army Senior Secondary Schools. Following up funding for Kihuba Seed School, that is in Karujugu Division, and yet NRM government is emphasizing universal secondary education.
So far, there is an instruction to put in a budget 500 million shillings for Masindi Army Secondary School as a rehabilitation fund.
In the second call budget circular, I have been instructed to put in the budget 500 million specifically for this school as a rehabilitation fund. And with effect from 1st July, we shall have some infrastructure being put in place.
Masindi Field Artillery Division Brigadier General Dan Kakony thanked President Yoweri Museveni and the Army leadership for making Army institutions as centers of excellence.
Our Army leadership and the President, because all these successes you are seeing are because of his strategic guidance of making our institutions centers of excellence.
The head teacher, Major Romnas Tuzi, gave a report showing their commitment to education.
Ourselves to those good schools where people pay 2.5, 2.8 and also get 8 in 8. Others don't even afford to register the 8 in 8.
The Member of Parliament, Masindi Municipality, Businje Joab, appreciated the work done by the school, parents and students in 2023 UCE results.
When you see the results all over being talked about, you don't ask whether there was a job well done. But thank you for creating a very enabling environment for the students to learn. And
The Federation of Uganda Traders Association has petitioned State House Investors Unit over the involvement of foreign investors in retail and wholesale trade. The traders, led by their chairperson, John Kabanda, say that the involvement of the foreigners in petty business pushes the local traders out of business through competition.
In the petition to the State House Investors Protection Unit, the officials from the Federation of Uganda Traders Association claim that many foreign investors are now involved in petty business like hawking, retail and wholesale. The traders, led by their chairperson John Kabanda, says the involvement of the foreigners in petty businesses pushes the local traders out of business through competition.
We had with the foreign investors, the Chinese, who, you know, those people they have broken the chain of distribution. Now they are the manufacturers, they are the distributors, wholesaler and the retailer. Now at this time, we want at least the traders of Uganda to get justice.
It has come to our attention that these purported investors are primarily sourcing their goods from factories in China and are importing them into Uganda for sale, thus bypassing local manufacturing and production.
The traders also complain of unfair treatment by KCCA, URA and immigration officials for favoring foreign investors.
Because they give tax-free, those people, they give them holiday. We as traders, we don't get the holiday. They give the holiday to the Chinese.
In a meeting held at State House Investors Protection Unit offices on Lumumba Avenue in Kampala, the head, Edith Nakalema, says she will summon all the accused ministries to explain.
It is going to be our duty as the State House Investors Protection Unit to coordinate with all ministries, departments and agencies to ensure that on the 12th of March, we gather and answer all concerns that they have raised. There are so many concerns, but we identified which ministries, departments and agencies of government that must attend.
The managing director, Uganda Manufacturers Association, says the challenge is not having good marketing policies.
The actual problem is a fact that our apparatus for market management is not sufficient to control the market. So that we interrogate who has what license, and that license is supposed to operate up to what scope of market engagement. So that is where the challenge begins from.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Yes, and that brings us to the end of our 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. Please do join us at 10 o'clock for another bulletin. More news will be running then. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and catch you at 10.
Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Pesa Milu with your weather update. We woke up to a thunder showers in most parts of the country, but mainly across the central and parts of Lake Victoria. Seeing the satellite picture, we're having the rain belt being retrieved back into our country in combination with the local effects like Lake Victoria bring us the rainfall that we're having lately. Tomorrow morning, we expect to wake up to a bright sunny day across most parts of our country, more especially central, the eastern, the western, even up to the northern sector of our country. Moving to the afternoon hours, we're having a pickup of light showers dominating most parts of the country at a 28 degrees Celsius across Nakasongola, 27 Muwende, 26 across Kapitesti Kampala and parts of Masaka. Moving into the Eastern, we are still having it sunny, light showers coming up in the afternoon hours at a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius across parts of Soroti, Jinja, and parts of Tororo with 28 degrees Celsius. The western stretch, we are having a domination of light rains, still that side at a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius across parts of Kasese, 29 Masindi, 26 Imbara, and the lowest of 23 degrees Celsius across parts of Kabale Highlands. Moving to the northern sector, we are still having a pickup of light showers at a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius, apart from Arua, where we are seeing a 29. Is moving out of Uganda to run a few cities across the globe. We are forecasting sunny conditions across parts of Johannesburg and New Delhi at a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius across New Delhi. Hong Kong with cloudy conditions at a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. Dubai and New York with light showers at a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius across Dubai. New York is a bit chilly with 13 degrees Celsius only. And thanks for tuning on UBC. I remain Kutesa Mili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.